Good evening, everyone. Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another very important live video update tonight. So obviously the huge news of this week is the release of Julian Assange, which is quite obviously very long overdue. I'm pretty sure that everybody watching this video has already well and truly heard of the story. So I'm not going to go over everything, but I do want to just touch on a couple of key points that have been mentioned in some of the media articles that have been going around over the past few days, because they do raise some important issues. So this is one of the articles that's been going around, and if you want to refer to this one, you'll see some of the points I'm referring to. It's entitled, "You Saved My Life. Assange Needs Time to Recover After Long-Awaited Return Home." Julian Assange will need time to recover before speaking publicly, his team has declared, following his long-awaited return to Australia. In a late-night press conference at a Canberra hotel, his wife Stella Assange and lawyers expressed their delight. The 52-year-old was home, but warned his prosecution and eventual guilty plea for publishing a trove of classified documents set a dangerous precedent. And that's what we're going to come back to. After more than 12 years confined in an Ecuadorian embassy and Belmarsh prison in London, Assange's journey home was still a long one. She said her husband's freedom wouldn't be possible without broad support from Australians and across the political spectrum. It took millions of people, she said, to raucous applause. It took people working behind the scenes, people protesting on the streets for days and weeks and months and years, and we achieved it. So again, this is this important concept of acting together collectively, and we'll be talking about that a number of times on tonight's video. As the sun rose over the Pacific Ocean earlier, Assange took a necessary detour through the tiny American territory of Saipan in the Northern Mariana Islands to plead guilty to a single felony charge under the Espionage Act, the price for his freedom. Almost sounds a bit like blackmail, doesn't it? Just saying. While welcoming the deal and the countless hours of diplomatic work put in to achieve it, Assange's lawyers remained fiercely critical of the US government's decision to pursue him under the Espionage Act. Assange's supporters say publishing the documents was an act of journalism. That's it. That's all it ever was. It was just an act of journalism, an assertion fiercely disputed by US authorities and other detractors. Prosecutors had accused Assange of damaging national security by publishing documents that harmed the US and its allies and aided its adversaries. Again, where's the evidence for the claim? They love to make these wild and crazy claims, but where's the evidence? The claim was lambasted by press advocates and Assange supporters, but prosecutors argued that they were targeting conduct that went way beyond that of a journalist gathering information, amounting to an attempt to solicit, steal, and indiscriminately publish classified government documents. Pollock claimed the US had admitted in court, though, there was not a single person anywhere that they can produce that was actually harmed by these publications. Once again, exactly the same as the fine system that we have here in Australia, no victims whatsoever. In order to win his freedom, Julian pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit espionage for publishing evidence of US war crimes, human rights abuse, and US wrongdoings around the world. That's what he was actually punished for publishing the truth. This is journalism. This is the criminalisation of journalism. And while the plea deal does not set a judicial precedent, because it's not actually a court decision, the prosecution itself sets a precedent that can be used against the rest of the media. And that, of course, is what's really concerning. Mrs. Assange said it was too early to consider her husband's return to WikiLeaks and urged the press to fight for him to be pardoned. The fact is, Julian will always defend victims. He's always done that, she said, and that's just part of who he is. He's deeply principled, and he remains deeply principled and unafraid. So well done to Julian for standing his ground. And whilst it is obviously great to see him finally back home where he obviously belongs, the fact that he had to endure what he did for so long is simply inexcusable. Now, I'm personally a firm believer in karma, and I will continue to trust that all of those involved in causing Julian Assange what he endured over the past 12 years will ultimately be held to account one way or another at some point in time or another. Now, it does also highlight the absolute importance of what I've spoken about many times before, and that is that we cannot leave this up to others to fight for us. We all need to fight together collectively and play our individual roles in trying to fix this mess that we all find ourselves in. So please, if you take nothing else out of this story, and if you feel anything for what Julian has endured, I urge you all to please make sure that you take action. Some action, any action, in some way, okay, in whatever areas of justice are important to you, but to stand up for your rights and to encourage others to do the same. And please, if anybody out there watching this has any kind of direct contact with Julian, please do let him know that obviously as long-time supporters of his, that we would love to have him on our Know Your Rights Group radio show, or at the very least do an interview with him whenever he is ready. Okay, so the good news doesn't end there this week. There was also another very positive story that came out actually just the other day about Armagard accepting a $50 million deal to keep cash flowing freely throughout the country. So if anybody missed that, that's the article there. And it says, Armagard to be given $50 million lifeline deal with Big Four banks and major retailers. Cash will continue flowing throughout Australia after a $50 million deal was struck between Armagard and major banks and retailers to ensure its services are easily accessed for at least another 12 months. The agreement was finalised on Monday ahead of the July 1 delivery of the massive handout. Australia's Big Four banks, ANZ, Commonwealth Bank, NAB and Westpac, teamed up with the four of the largest retailers in Wesfarmers, Coles, Woolworths and Australia Post to help the cash transport distributors stay in business. The financial injection comes after Armagard's parent company, Lindsay Fox-owned transport and logistics giant Linfox, rebuffed a $26 million emergency funding lifeline in March from the same group helping it out now. Mr. Fox said the financial support was a way for Armagard to ensure cash remains available nationwide despite ongoing concerns. The funding is contingent on Armagard agreeing to efficiencies and cost savings under the agreed bailout conditions, including meeting monthly key performance indicators. The agreement also includes a commitment by the parties to work together to develop an independent pricing mechanism to support a sustainable cash delivery business past that 12-month deadline. Australian Banking Association CEO Anna Bligh said the agreement reflected the ongoing issues facing the sustainability of cash in transit services. This deal will keep cash moving around the country and ensures it remains available to Australians wherever they live. So that, of course, is a fantastic start. But again, we all need to act together collectively to ensure that that arrangement does continue beyond that 12-month period. And of course, we need to keep cash alive forevermore. So this is, again, a very timely reminder. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you add your signature to Jason Bryce's petition, which of course is to legislate a formal cash and banking guarantee in this country. As always, you'll find a link in the comments section. Otherwise, if you're watching this on YouTube or somewhere else, you can just do a search for that petition online. Of course, a reminder as well to please join our Call Out Cashless Businesses Facebook group, as well as the Cash is King discussion group. Again, you'll find links in the comments, or you can just go onto Facebook and search for those groups. Now, speaking of keeping cash alive, there's been yet another major backflip by a Queensland company who were abused for refusing to accept cash. And despite the banks clearly making it more and more difficult for businesses to actually use cash, this company has indeed chosen to accept cash again for their public events. So this is the story here, and it's in regards to a Queensland company. And it says, CommBank blamed as Queensland business Street Feast sparks uproar by going cashless before backflip. Street Feast has held dozens of nighttime food festivals and markets across the state and in northern New South Wales, including regional locations of Goondiwindi, Oakey, Kingaroy, Nanango and Dalby since launching in January. The business charges $2 per person for entry to its events, meaning staff often hold thousands of dollars worth of notes and coins. That creates safety concerns for the staff members and owners to be left with that much cash, Street Feast sales and relationship executive Phoenix Diamond told 7 News. Again, what did these businesses do 10, 15, 20 years ago before these tap and go cards really even existed or were in mainstream use? People use cash all the time. People held thousands and thousands of dollars for cash. They've been doing it for decades. Why is it all of a sudden just magically an issue now? Okay, this is what they keep saying. Oh, it's a safety risk. It's a safety issue. But it's been that for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Why is everyone only talking about it now? The issue came to a head when management announced to followers late last month that attendees would need to pay by card at the door. This sparked an uproar from people who argued there should be a choice over the form of payment. Cash is king, use it or lose it, one person wrote on their Facebook page. Another said, I was all in until you stipulated card only. That's a family of 5 who won't be attending. A third person said, I'd also like to know why it's card-only entry. I think this is totally unfair, and as a business event, it should be illegal to refuse legal tender. Days later, Street Feast announced it would again accept cash at its upcoming events. We've heard you loudly, read a post on social media. We are bringing cash back at the gate of all of our events. Please have correct change. Diamond said the absolute uproar from the community also included staff being abused at events by people who were clearly upset by not being able to pay cash on the door. At one event in a regional community, protesters came out and pushed a sentiment that the business was part of a problem helping banks push a cashless agenda, Diamond said. We had to call the police because one guy was abusing staff, telling us we were responsible for the New World Order. Was he wrong? Don't know. Now again, we'd never condone anyone abusing anybody, but certainly making your opinion known and certainly explaining why you have that opinion, and certainly references to the New World Order I don't see as being completely out of line. I don't blame the reaction from the public. It was understandable. We understand their frustration. We share their frustration. Then why did you go card only in the first place? But banks are making it impossible to do business with cash. It almost makes it feel like there's a push to make it hard for businesses to operate. He said banks had no right to make it actively difficult to refuse to handle cash, labelling the situation as unacceptable. And certainly anything that makes cash use in any way more difficult is absolutely unacceptable. So once again, we see the banks trying to push their cashless agenda because, of course, they make significantly larger profits if everyone uses their cards rather than cash. They can continue to close branches, continue to shut down ATMs, continue to fire their staff. So again, let's keep using cash at every single opportunity. Let's keep urging all businesses, large and small, to at least keep accepting cash as some form of payment. And let's keep fighting back against the bank's ever-increasing profits. Okay, after all, the old state bank, okay, if anyone remembers the old state bank, the old ad that says, it's your money, Ralph, okay? And it is, it's your money. So stop continually handing it over to the banks bit by bit every time you tap and go with your card. So I mentioned on the last video update that I did and also on our last few radio shows that we're cutting down on our weekly radio shows and we're going down to just once a fortnight. So that's going to mean that there's going to be some extra articles that pop up every now and again that we need to go through on these weekly video updates. So I wanted to go through a couple more important but not necessarily connected articles just very quickly just to make another few key points. So the first article, unfortunately, refers to the increase, the recent increase in inflation, as well as the potential for another rate rise, possibly as soon as just the next few months. So I urge everyone to please be aware of this article. It is entitled Rate Hike Risk Grows Amid Inflation Acceleration. The fresh inflation reading comes as the Reserve Bank battles to tame persistent price pressures which have re-accelerated since December. So they're going back up again. Household borrowers could be forced to stomach another rate hike as soon as August after inflation surged to its highest level in 6 months, underlying the Reserve Bank's struggle to contain simmering price pressures. The monthly consumer price index, a measure of goods and services cost across the economy, jumped to 4% in the year to May, the Australian Bureau of Statistics said on Wednesday, up from 3.6% in April. So it's nearly 0.5% increase. Economists had been expecting a more modest increase of just 3.8%. Traders immediately bolstered their bets that the RBA would move to increase interest rates for a 14th time since May 2022. Money markets have ascribed a near 50% chance of a rate hike at the central bank's September meeting and odds above 40% in August. Contributing to the stronger than anticipated inflation result was a rise in housing costs, up 5.2% in the year to May, as rents surged 7.4% and home building climbed 4.9% due to the lack of rental properties and ongoing worker shortages hammering the construction sector. Consumers were also hit with higher electricity prices, up 6.5% over 12 months, with the ending of the power bill rebates to be reinstated by state and federal governments from July the 1st, which also contributed to the increase. Inflation across fruits and vegetables posted its biggest annual increase in a year. Also confirming the pressure facing cash-strapped households was an increase in fuel costs, which surged 9.3% compared to a year earlier. So everything is just going up and up and up. So this is, it shows that it is really very, very challenging times for many, many people at the moment, and potentially it's going to get even harder if the RBA does indeed choose to increase interest rates in the next few months. So, pardon me, in order to help everybody out as much as we possibly can amidst all of these rising costs, despite the fact that we have not put our prices up in 10 years, and we did warn people over the last few radio shows that we were going to put our prices up as of the 1st of July, we have actually decided to keep all of our prices on hold as we roll over into the new financial year. But unfortunately, the one thing that we are going to have to increase slightly is our postage costs, okay? Those costs have almost, actually have more than doubled in the past 10 years, and in some instances actually even tripled or even more, and we have not put those costs up at all. So please, if you do want to avoid those extra postage costs, do make sure you place an order for anything that you might be after before Sunday night to lock in those current postage prices. Now, as an extra additional incentive for everyone, we did announce on Tuesday night's radio show that we have all agreed, and we've also convinced the other groups that we're working with to extend our 25% off end of financial year promotion until midnight on Sunday night. So if you want to get an extra 25% off, I already, held down, not increased, exceptional prices. You can go to our products page and you can find out more about that. And again, you'll find a link in the comments or the description. And again, a couple of people have asked us, yes, that does also apply to our seminar tickets as well. So if you want to come to one of our remaining live events, you can get the promotion on that as well. Now, do keep in mind also that we have reinstated our affiliate program. So if you are wanting to earn a full 33% commission, so that's a third of the cost. So we're not putting any of our prices up. We're reducing by 25% till the end of the year, and we're offering an additional 33% commission to anybody who signs up as an affiliate and refers anybody to us, whether they buy a book or a CD or a seminar ticket or whatever it is. So if you haven't done so, please make sure you join up as an affiliate. Again, you should find a link going up in the comments section. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, just go to the knowyourrightsgroup.com.au website, click on the affiliates tab, and just follow the steps there. So again, yes, people can take advantage of the 25% off promotion and earn the 33% commission on top of that. Earn a little bit of extra money. We want to make it as simple as possible for everybody to get access to the information that they need to keep standing up for their rights. Okay, so the final article that I want to go through tonight is a warning for South Australian drivers and anybody who might be travelling there. And it does actually apply to many of the other states as well, but in particular South Australia, because they've just switched on their mobile phone cameras. So this is the article for anyone in South Australia or who might be travelling to South Australia. It says South Australia's mobile phone detection cameras officially switched on, but drivers offered 3-month grace period. Another Australian state has officially switched on its mobile phone detection cameras, but drivers have been offered a 3-month grace period. South Australia has become the latest state with operational mobile phone detection cameras after a 2-month testing phase came to an end. Cameras have been established at 5 sites in the state, with further locations being canvassed, so 2 more cameras can be installed early next year. However, South Australian Police on Wednesday said drivers that have been offered a 3-month grace period for educational purposes. During that time, drivers nabbed by the cameras using their phone behind the wheel will not receive a fine or lose demerit points. Instead, they will be sent a warning letter. Oh, how very generous. That will all change on September 19th, though, when drivers illegally using their phone will be handed a $540 fine plus $99 victims of crime levy and 3 demerit points. Where exactly is the victim of you touching your phone, putting a GPS coordinate in, hitting respond to a text message and giving it voice commands? Where exactly is the victim? Okay, how on earth can you have a victims of crime levy when there's no victim? That is absolutely absurd. Superintendent Darren Filkey, officer in charge of SAPOL's traffic support branch, warned the grace period only applied to drivers caught by mobile phone detection cameras. People caught by police illegally using their mobile devices when driving will still be required to pay a fine, he said. So it's dangerous if you get caught by police, but it's not dangerous for the next 3 months if you get caught by a camera. But then after September 19th, then it is dangerous. Does this make any sense to anybody? Maybe it's just me. Now, here's the key. Take note of these figures. During the testing phase, from April 19 to June 16, that's a 3-month period, the cameras picked up 71,044 drivers using a mobile phone behind the wheel from 6,794,050 vehicles. So 71,000 drivers were detected using a mobile phone in that 3-month period. Now, obviously, if there was, given that these are, such a serious risk, we should see, a huge increase in accidents, as a result of, these things. So I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But I want you to keep in mind this, and I've said this before in relation to, many similar figures. If there's 71,000 people that have been caught in just 3 months doing what you consider to be the wrong thing, then in my view, your definition of wrong is clearly wrong. Okay? It just doesn't add up. So, before I finish on this point, I want to put things in perspective for everybody. But before I do, let me preface this by saying, yes, absolutely, driving whilst distracted is clearly dangerous. If you're staring at your screen, okay, while you're driving, then yes, that's clearly going to be an issue. But here's the thing, that's not the only thing that these phone detection cameras pick up and fine you for. If you just pick up your phone and hand it to a passenger, if you momentarily tap on a screen for a GPS function, okay, or if you have the phone, sitting on your lap and you're giving it voice commands, these will all be picked up by these cameras and you'll receive a fine despite them not being dangerous or a safety risk in any way at all. It is a really great way to raise a lot of revenue though. So back to that final point. They say that 70,000 people were detected using their phone in a 3-month period, they claim that touching your phone in any way is a serious safety risk. So as I mentioned before, given those numbers, we should see something in the vicinity of 70,000 accidents as a result of those serious safety risks, yeah? So I'll hand that one off and I'll hold this one up. So this is, I've taken this straight off the South Australia Police website. And this is current as of, an hour before we went to air. Now, please keep in mind, this is the year to date for 2024. So these figures actually cover a 6-month period, not a 3-month period. Okay? So I'm going to hold this up for you while I read this, okay, so that you can see we don't have 70,000 accidents. We don't even have 7,000 accidents. We don't even have 700 accidents. Okay? What we have is 363 accidents. That's it. Now remember, 70,000 people were detected using their phone in just 3 months. If you extrapolate that out over the 6-month period that this refers to, that would be 140,000 people. 148,000 people are doing seriously risky things, yet there's only 363 accidents and just 43 fatalities. So, my question is, are these cameras really there to save lives, or are they simply there to raise revenue? As always, I'll leave it up to you guys to draw your own conclusions. But if you do conclude that it is, of course, for the latter, like basically all other unjust and unlawful fines, and if you're sick of funding a system that simply does not work, then again, I would urge you, please make sure you grab a copy of that Aussie Speeding Fines book. Not only does it have that tried, tested and proven 3-step process, okay, for successfully challenging all manner of unjust and unlawful fines, they also lay out step by step exactly the sort of strategies that need to be implemented to genuinely make our roads safer. But as I said on the last video, they're never going to do that when the money keeps rolling in. So the only way to stop the money rolling in is to stop paying your fines. And of course, the best way to do that is not to just ignore them or shove them in the drawer. It's to use that 3-step process to effectively challenge any fines that you get. Okay, save your hard-earned money and stop sending it through to the government. Okay, so please, as always, there's a link in the description, there's a link in the comments. Grab that book if you don't already have it and save your money. Now, speaking of saving money, I'm going to finish off tonight with the latest testimonial, and this is a huge one from one of the Bank Secrets Revealed members. And of course, I'm also going to go through some memes to get people thinking as well. So this one was, as I said, sent to the BSR guys from a gentleman by the name of Luke. And Luke writes in, "Hey team, I just wanted to send a big thank you to you guys. After going through the 4-step letter process with ING, they eventually wiped my personal loan of approximately $60,000. $60,000 wiped off. But get this, it gets better. And even sent me a letter congratulating me on paying off my personal loan. So thank you very much for your ebook. This result is amazing. The one downside to this is I now have a default on my credit score, which is not the end of the world, but will possibly prevent me from getting any mortgage in the next few years. Do you know of a process I can go through with Equifax, etc., to challenge the default and potentially have that removed? Thanks again, Luke." And of course, the process is to simply send them a copy of that letter that they said, where ING has said, thank you for paying off that loan. And that proves that that debt was discharged, that default notice was put up in error. And that is a fantastic victory. $60,000 personal loan wiped off with the 4-step process from that Bank Secrets book. So please, if you are struggling to pay your credit card debts, if you are struggling to pay your personal loans, grab this book and use that tried, tested and proven 4-step process to wipe off or discharge any of those unsecured loans. Again, you'll find a link in the description and in the comments. All right, so some memes to finish off. Yes, football is well and truly in full swing at the moment all around the country, sadly. And this is everybody's, up in arms, or it's an uproar because their football team loses. But here is the brainless sheeple just sitting there. Government destroys your business, your family, and your health, and you're just obliviously looking around. Nobody seems to bat an eyelid. Yes, another one that relates to exactly the same principle. Okay, how true is this? School taught 3 generations that if you just did what you were told and repeated without question, a better life would arrive. Then the ambush of 2020 was organised, when doing what you were told and repeating without question could cost you your life. It was a well-laid trap. And sadly, a lot of people fell for it, and a lot of people are now paying the price. Yes, this is a very good one. This has been doing the rounds lately. I've received it a couple of times. And as it says, Bill Gates says a cow puts off more pollution than a car. Okay, Billy, I'll lock myself in a garage with a cow overnight. You lock yourself in a garage with a running car overnight, and we'll meet for breakfast in the morning to discuss the results. Pretty simple, isn't it? Now, obviously, we spoke on a recent radio show about this gender affirmation leave and everything revolving that. So I'm just going to put this up there and pose this question, and perhaps some of you can come up with an answer that I haven't found yet. As it says there, if genitals don't define gender, how does removing them affirm it? Not sure. And this is along the exact same lines, but it's it makes even less sense if that's even possible. The notion that you can simply identify as whatever you wish and that everybody must instantly accept it and play along 100% without asking any questions is possibly the silliest idea in modern society. And I would certainly have to agree. And the final one, which I'm sure will get some sort of comments from the Facebook fact checkers or whatever else, is about good old climate change. So I'm going to just hold this up for a minute and let you have a read. And as it says there, geologist Professor Ian Plimmer, the question of whether or not the planet is warming is entirely dependent on when you start measuring. If you started measuring in the 1850s, there's been a general warming of about 0.7 degrees Celsius. If you started to measure from medieval times, we've actually had a cooling off of about 4 degrees Celsius. So if you're telling me that the planet's warming, my question is, since when? Okay, and this is so important, not necessarily just in relation to climate change, but in relation to anything in life. Okay, and this brings me back to some of my success coaching stuff. Okay, people say, oh, this is perfect. Okay, perfect for what? There is no perfect person or perfect car or perfect job. Or there's no perfect thing. It's only perfect for a particular person or perfect for a particular set of circumstances. Things only exist within relativity to other things. So, there's climate change and the globe is warming. Okay, but compared to when? Okay, and this is how they skew statistics and they skew data to suit their particular narrative. So, as always, just be aware of it, be on the lookout for it, and make sure you understand it, and always ask that question. Compared to what? That's why I said before with the 70,000 people and the 300 accidents. This is a serious risk. Compared to what? Where's the actual results? Where's the actual data? So always be sure to ask those questions. So I'm going to leave things there for tonight. As always, I do urge you to please make use of all the various resources that are available to you to please get informed, get fired up, and get proactive. We do need that again this year more than ever before. As always, these live videos are completely free to watch. You'll find all of the past videos on our YouTube channel, our BitChute channel, and also under the videos tab on our Facebook page. Our radio shows are completely free to listen to. Remember, that is only every second week as we move forwards now. But all the podcasts from the last 10 years have been uploaded now to our website. It costs less than $5 a week to join up as a podcast member. So if you do want to listen to any of the past podcasts, please do be sure to do that. Now, of course, if you want to go above and beyond that, please do make sure sure you grab a copy of our Know Your Rights book, the essential step-by-step manual for understanding and exercising your rights. And do keep in mind, again, our 25% off end of financial year promotion, which does apply to that. Also, the Aussie Speeding Fines book, which I mentioned before, they too are running a 25% off end of financial year promotion. Also, the Bank Secrets Revealed guys, again, running their own 25% off promotion. You can get these all individually. There's links in the description there. You can get them all together as part of the combo pack, where you do get that tote bag included as a bonus, no extra charge. Don't forget, we do have our caps and beanies, especially with the colder weather in many of the states now. We do have those beanies, help keep the head warm. People notice the logo, they come up and have a chat. It's a great way to meet like-minded people. Again, that promotion applies to all of our physical products. So we do have our very special rubber-backed mouse mats now. So if you want a nice little mouse mat to operate your computer on, they're all part of the promotion. Those USB, CD, DVD drives, and of course our actual USB sticks. So if you want to convert anything from CD or DVD onto the USB, keep the other discs as a backup, we've got those. They're all part of the promotion as well. Of course, those seminar tickets, as I said, you can book those tickets. We've got Gold Coast in the middle of July, we've got Townsville at the end of July, and then we've got Perth in the middle of September. So grab your tickets for those. If you can't get to one of those events for whatever reason, please make sure you grab a copy of our home study course. It is a complete recording of one of those 2.5-day events. There's 17 DVDs, a CD with all the documents we use, 3 custom-made workbooks with places there to write notes next to every presentation that we do, every single slide. It's all there. You can pause, rewind, fast forward in the comfort of your own home. So grab that. It is a fantastic resource that you'll come back to again and again and again. And that too is part of our promotion. And a couple of people have decided to dive right in. They've decided, yeah, I'm serious about learning about my rights. So they've had a look at things like our ultimate pack, our ultimate combo packs, our ultimate platinum packs. So again, you'll find all of those on our various shop pages. There should be a direct link to this one going up in the comment section. But do have a look around our products and shop pages if you're interested in anything. And do make sure you place your order before Sunday night to take advantage, A, of that discount, and B, to take advantage of those reduced postage prices before they go up. Other than that, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I'll talk to you again next Thursday night.